Hello, my name is Colleen Johnson, middle school broadcasting and communications teacher, sponsor for the online newspaper, and co-advisor for the yearbook. I am in the Masters of Educational Instructional Technology program. The title of my capstone project is Infusing Technology in the Literacy Class. This is my capstone video. The problem or need. Teachers play an essential role in incorporating technology successfully in the classroom. The challenge at Booth is that learning new technology and integrating it in the lessons to enhance learning and differentiation can be time-consuming and challenging for some, which leads to a deterrent for using the technology. The teachers at Booth are certified in reading. During the literacy period, all teachers incorporate literacy lessons for students aligned with their content standards. Some teachers are apprehensive about trying the technology in the classroom because they aren't comfortable using it, or they don't have the time to create a lesson plan to incorporate it. My capstone project, my solution, would be to create a website with relevant explainers available to the teachers at Booth, but especially to this targeted set of teachers. This group would benefit from this project. I decided to create lessons that had fun video reviews or previews, and relevant technology-infused lessons for students. A rubric to assess the activity and instructions for teachers setting up the digital resources would be included, along with an example of the finished product. According to Bloom's digital taxonomy list of verbs, students that collaborate, animate, compose, design, film, plan, podcast, publish video, blog, or write are engaged in higher order of thinking. The lessons I created contain these types of activities. I surveyed teachers to evaluate what their needs were. I wanted to get opinions about the content that they were interested in and content that the students may be interested in. I also wanted to get an idea of the type of technical assistance they would need. The evaluation showed that of 32 middle school teachers that responded, 25% felt they needed more assistance in finding content, and 34% said they needed more assistance in using the content in their lessons. When asked how they prefer to engage in professional learning, 68.8% said they would like a small group with the same content and similar knowledge about technology. This gave me the opportunity to help. After speaking with my principal and the assigned county instructional technology coach for our school, I got the approval to set up a site and incorporate the approved digital resources the county provided for us. To accomplish the goal of helping the teachers with integrating the applications in their instructions, I provided the following on the website: a brief video explainer of how instructors can use the application or media, video with instructions for the teachers to set up the application for their use, a lesson plan of how to incorporate the application or media in their lesson. Lessons may include video lessons for the students with explainers using the digital applications to complete the assignment. Assessments will also be included, rubrics, and an example of the finished product. The first lesson was a podcast lesson a teacher had asked me to design for her gifted class. I designed the lesson in podcast format in small intervals to teach students about producing podcasts. I recommended software and apps that the county purchased or were free and approved by the county technical department. I created a Google form that she and her students filled out at the lesson's end to provide feedback about the lesson. The idea for the second lesson happened when the media specialist and several other teachers asked me to show students how to create book trailers using the video editing software I use with my classes. The media specialist purchases WeVideo licenses that I recommended so that any teacher or student can use it to create videos, create and edit videos. Here I included at the beginning, after the standards, why it was important for students to be motivated to read. And these weren't my words, these were cited. Further down in the implementation sections, I included rainbow tips. For example, this first one says that they should have students learn everything they need to know in order to complete this lesson. This might be a good time to review some previous lessons so that they feel prepared to learn something exciting and new. So the teachers have a choice whether they should review elements because you're not knowing where students are with respect to having learned about genres and elements of the story. They're coming from different feeder schools into our middle school. So this would be a good time to review or teach them because the students, this is a student-led activity, so they can review it and learn the information on their own. So here is a short animation or video about genre review. And then in this one, this is a review that I created, an animated review that I created about the elements of a story. As the students in my class choose topics to write articles for the online newspaper after they're published to the site, I encourage literacy teachers to incorporate an exploration of the articles as a quick lesson in literacy and have students leave comments. One teacher asked me to create lessons with instructions for the students. This became the catalyst for the third lesson about a written response. The media specialist promotes National Poetry Month in April. Students are encouraged to choose a poem for the display on a bulletin board titled Poem in a Pocket and read it to a teacher. Since the majority of the English teachers incorporate this unit of poetry in their lessons and curriculum, I designed a lesson that included students choosing a poem from a list of poems, including the ones on the display on the bulletin board in the Media Center for Poems in a Pocket. And the students would choose a digital resource and interpret the verses of the poem. The students in my broadcasting class already create these kinds of projects. So I had lessons about setting up and using these digital resources to create these tasks. Creating instructions for the teachers was not an ordeal. The video lessons are created in Beyond Animation, Screencastify, Canva, or Headliner, and edit in WeVideo. The videos contain music, animation, screen captured demonstrations, and more. The projects are modeled on the morning news, so teachers are enticed and intrigued to try to incorporate these tasks, these lessons in their literacy content. The challenges I faced were after creating a website to upload the lessons for the teachers without paying for the bells and whistles. I didn't realize the number of limitations and challenges I would encounter. I wanted the lessons available to booth teachers. Only creating a password caused challenges and deterred some from using the site. There was a reoccurring recommendation to just put it on the drive and give us the link to access them. As I have learned from this program, you have to read the room and understand your clients. They were my clients and they did not want to go to another website. I listened. Regretfully, I had already purchased a web page URL. I was very disappointed that they didn't appreciate the website. I abandoned the website and continued with the drive. In keeping with the ISTE standard that educators should, 2.2a, shape, advance, and accelerate a shared vision for empowering learning with technology by engaging with education stakeholders, 2.2c, which is to model for colleagues the curation, I modeled the content and made use the drive to share the content instead of the website. I evaluated the success of this project and came to a realization there is a consensus that literacy is not often used as it should be, and this may be true. The vision for the literacy period at Booth is to create lesson plans for students during literacy that will entice reading and include relevant and interesting projects that consist of technology. At the inception of the learning management system, that's Schoology, Some teachers were verbal about feeling overwhelmed by the mandates to use the technology. Some preferred literacy lessons that didn't require them to read or evaluate projects. For students, the consensus is that they would like literacy projects that are fun and engaging, preferably ones that included technology. The administrators face a challenge because teachers prefer a site where the students read and answer questions. As I have learned in this program, changing behavior can only be done with the support from administrators. When I reflect on the challenges and successes of this capstone project, I've learned some valuable lessons. One is I would include a survey specifically asking teachers how they would like to access the information. I may even choose to have someone test it out. That way, I would probably have saved some valuable time and money. Another lesson learned is that if something is voluntary, then only a few will participate. I was very disappointed when teachers I thought would have participated did not. There was constructive criticism given about the flow of one of the lessons, and I made changes and edits, and I will test it out on the students, and then I will upload it to the drive where I have the lessons shared. And finally, the true success is how the children reacted to the lessons. I was told the majority of the students in the classes were engaged. Some teachers and students shared projects and asked if they could be played on the morning news. And that was a delight. I'd like to share a reflection with you from one of the teachers who sampled the lessons. Hi, Colleen Johnson, and I'm here with Miss Frisch. She teaches world geography here at J.C. Booth, and she used one of the lessons that I shared with the teachers. Tell us about your experience with the lesson.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that Ms. Johnson and I have collaborated on many different things over almost 10 years, but this is a particular lesson on podcasts that I use with my gifted students. It's a podcast of 4 episodes, and it involves what the students have learned and what they learn away from me on the continent of Asia. So what we do is I set it up where there are 4 different assignments, and each assignment has a different due date, and they turn in their podcast with their script, and I take a look at those and give them feedback on what they need to improve moving forward.
Was it easy to set it up when you looked at the information that I gave you?
Yes. Now, without Miss Johnson's help, that would have been a disaster. But actually, my daughter was in school to become an English teacher, and one of her professors had given them this assignment. It was on a much smaller scale, but I asked Miss Johnson to collaborate with me and make it a full 9-week project for my gifted students. So once she told me what a podcast was, because I'm pretty old and she's a lot more with it, but anyhow, once she explained that, then she gave me the technical things, and then I dropped the technical things into the different directions that I wanted the kids to follow.
Good, good. Do you have any recommendations for improvements?
No, not really. This is the second year that we've done it, and the kids really enjoy the project. In fact, I give them feedback individually by email, and I ask them all when the first segment was due, are you enjoying the project? And they all came back and told me they really were.
Okay.
Now, you always have a handful that just don't do what they're supposed to do. So I do have a handful that are not really doing what I'm asking them to do, but those that are doing the project are really enjoying it. So unless you can tell me how to get those 5 to do it, I'm not sure how we would improve.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving it a try. And I want you to make more requests about other projects that you'd like to do, and I
Okay.
can try and help, implement that. And thank you very much for your feedback.
Thank you.
This concludes my Capstone video presentation. I'm Colleen Johnson. Thank you.